Hey, what's going on, everyone? On YouTube here. I'm Larry the Batman fan. Hope y'all are doing well. So, today, or tonight, I should say, we are going to be talking about the top 10 worst NES games. I talked about the top 10 worst N64 games, and I've talked about the worst PlayStation 2 games. I don't think I made it a list. Or maybe I did. It might have been a top 15 worst games. I do at least the top 10, at least, because there's a lot of bad games for each system. And 5 is just not enough to cover it, so it has to be at least the top 10. But there are some dishonorable mentions for games. Ones that the Angry Video Game Nerd covered, such as Superman on the NES. There was a Superman game, it's no good. Um, there's Friday the 13th, and there's also Nightmare on Elm Street, which those games aren't good either on NES, and the Back to the Future games on NES, which were atrocious. And also the Karate Kid and a few other titles like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Win, Lose, or Draw and Kid Cool. Those are some of the worst games. But I'm going to go over the games that I've played on the NES that I consider to be the worst. And I have 7 right here, but this is a top 10, so of course I'm going to make it a top 10. So the least rotten one, and this is number 10, is probably The Simpsons Bart versus the World. This is a really bad game because, it's really frustrating. It's like the first level, I remember the first level, you were on a ship, you had to climb up stuff, you had to collect stuff, and then there was this character that was chasing you and other characters you had to fight, things like that. And then eventually in that level you become Bartman or something as the game goes on. You cannot swim in the water, otherwise he drowns and he says, "Eat my shorts." There was a trivia game in this game where it's like a card game, a matchup type of game. And there were some other games in this game. But overall, it wasn't an amazing game on the NES. It was just really frustrating and not that fun to play. And that also leads me to the next game, which is Bart versus the Space Mutants. That game I've also played, and that game was very bad as well. It wasn't a very fun game. It was very frustrating. You make one mistake on that level, in the first level, you are screwed. You don't get another chance, and it's just brutal. It's unforgiving. I think the Angry Video Game Nerd covered both of those titles as well. They're not very good. Number 8 has to be Amagon. I played Amagon. I didn't think that was a very good game. The nerd never covered that, but I'm here to tell you it sucks. It sucks because it's like one of those games. It's like a side scroller. You had like a gun, but like 2 hits and you're dead. Had some jumping and stuff. Had trees in the game where you had to. You figure you move forward, you get hit by an apple, and you get hit. Like, why? How does an apple kill you? How does an apple hurt you? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's really dumb. It's really stupid. I mean, even if someone were to throw an apple at you, you wouldn't get killed. You say, "Ow!" And then you just brush it off and be like, okay. It's not like a knife where you stab someone, or a sword when you stab someone, or a gun you shoot someone and then they really are hurting. Apple, you just chuck it and boom, that's it. It hurts for like 30 seconds and then that's it. It's not that bad. The gameplay just wasn't that great either. The gameplay sucked in it, and it just wasn't a very fun game. So that's why I put Amagon up on the list, at number 8. Now for number 7, I'm going to say Silent Service, because this game, I got game over real quick. It was like, you're looking at some map, you're screwing around in a ship or a submarine, and it's like what the fuck do you do in this game? Like, I don't understand what the hell you're doing. Like, and then when you press certain buttons on the NES controller to move forward or something, you make a wrong move, and it's game over. It just made no sense to me. Like, what did I do wrong? It doesn't explain itself either, what you did wrong. And then there are parts where I would end up at the title screen again. I'm like, okay, well, that sucks. And then I would go back in and try again, try to get further in this game, and never could. I don't understand this game. It makes no sense. It's like a submarine game made by Ultra Games, but Ultra did not make a good game with this. The Ninja Turtles games were pretty dope. Roller games, not bad. Base Wars for a baseball game with robots, not too bad. But this one sucks. Alright, so now we're at number 6. And if it wasn't for the love that I have for Spider-Man and the attachment for Spider-Man, this would probably been in my top 5 or top 3. But that's Spider-Man Return of the Sinister Six. If you guys saw the collab video I did with Jack of Gold Kick like a year and a half ago, the first one, then you'll know why this game stinks. Because Spider-Man's supposed to be a badass, right? Then why does he suck in this game? You know? Why is it that there are some times when you hit the enemies, your punches connect with them. And then there are other times where it just changes up the controls and screws you over, and then you end up getting killed, or the punches go through the bad guy. That just sucks. And then later on in the game, when you gotta jump down on these platforms, you know, there are some times where you know you jumped on that platform, because the hit detection sucks so bad in it, you fall right through that platform, and then you land up on the ground, and then you lose a life for that. Like, that sucks. This game was made by LJN. I know I have a ripped cover there, but that's LJN. They are one of the worst video game companies ever. You know, they're up there with Titus, they're up there with Crave Entertainment, and they're up there with who's that other company that made bad games? THQ. But the thing is, to be fair, I think THQ made some good games. I mean, the wrestling SmackDown versus Raw games were pretty good, but they did make a few crap games like Home Alone 2, you know, and Home Alone. But not everything THQ put out was crap. Crave Entertainment had a few good games, but LJN, they only had one good game. One. One. And that was Spider-Man and Venom Maximum Carnage. That was the only really good game by them. Although I guess the wrestling games were alright too. The WWF Super WrestleMania and the WWF Raw and Royal Rumble, those were alright, but pretty much everything else they put up is terrible. Yeah, there were parts in this game later on where there was a clock that kind of blended in with the background. It didn't really look good. The graphics suck in this game. And fighting a goblin was a pain in the ass. It really was. I mean, and the web shooting, like when firing off your webs, slinger stuff, you know, that you shoot from your wrists. Sometimes it works and other times it doesn't. So it's very inconsistent with this game. The backwards controls that suck, and the hit detection sucks in the game, and the web slinging, sometimes that sucks too. So this is why this game sucks. It's bad. It's not good. It's a terrible game. Stay away from it. I'm telling you, do not buy this game. It's terrible. Now we're in the top 5. Get ready, because we're headed for some shit right here, man. I've got 4 cards here. Actually, I want to add an extra game here, just so that I don't screw up the count. But number 5 is Milon's Secret Castle. Yeah, I played that game. I used to own it. I don't own it currently. I'm glad I got that piece of crap out of my collection. I forget who made that game. If it was Sunsoft or Broader Band. I forget. Leave that in the comment section below if you know. But Mylon Secret Castle was just a confusing mess. You play as Mylon, you go from point A in the game, you collect coins and stuff and kill enemies, but and you kill them with like bubbles and whatnot, but it doesn't work very well. It's not like Bubble Bobble. Um, there are parts where you think you get to the end of the level and you end up out another door in the game, and then you have to go back through the door because the other door is locked. Or you can finally get through the door with a key, but then what happens once you get through that level, you end up going out the door again, and that door is locked, so you have to go right back in the last door you came out of, and it just takes forever. That's why the game is not very good. Look up the nerd. He talked about it more, but it's not a very good game. It had potential, but it just failed. Alright, now we really get into some shit. Because I fucking hate this game. Dick Tracy. Good movie, bad game. Bad license game. I talked about this somewhat on Jackal Goldkick's channel, but back then, a few years ago, the way I would send the videos was through Facebook, and they only allow about 8 minutes worth of it, so there's a little bit of clipping. So people probably didn't catch that, why I don't like this game. I don't like this game because there's no way to avoid the snipers in the game. I mean, it is frustrating as hell. And if you try to drive, get out of the car and then, walk around, you can't do that. It won't allow you to do that. Why the hell can't you do that? It doesn't make any sense. So you have to be in the car at all times, except for when you go to a certain area and then you can walk in. It's just retarded. Who designed a game where you can't even get out of the car and walk around in the streets? That's stupid. So you have to manually get in the car, drive up a little ways, get out of the car, shoot the snipers off the rooftops, get back in the car, drive around the corner, get out, walk a little ways, and then shoot the snipers over there so they never hit your car. That was so annoying. It's stupid. It was really stupid, too. And then when you actually do find out where you gotta go, say 5th and B or 4th Ave and C or something, you get in there and it turns into a side-scroller game, right? From a driving stage, or driving game I should say, to a side-scroller. The problem is the side-scrolling sucks in the game as well. And it sucks because it's like, if the enemies are armed, you can shoot them, I think, but if they're not armed and you shoot them, you lose health for it, and that just sucks. It really sucks. It's easier to shoot them than it is just to duck and punch and things like that. And what's even more crazy is trying to get the clue that they put somewhere far up, and then you have to climb up this ledge that gets in the way of the floor grounds on top, the top floor grounds, and it's very hard for you to jump down and get that clue, without falling into a pit or, screwing up. And then guess what happens? You have to go all the way back to the beginning of the level just to go back over there just to get that clue. That was infuriating. That was just annoying as hell, And you only get one life in this game and no continues. That is bullshit. So that's why this game is terrible. Do not buy this game. This game's awful. Sucks. Sucks so bad. A lot of kids bought this back in 91 or 1990 thinking, oh, this is going to be wonderful. It was just a disappointing game. Crappy license game based off a pretty good movie with Warren Beatty. Terrible. And I got this game for $4. So I guess it's worth $4, but good luck trying to get this for $4. It's about a $10 game, but it ain't worth $10. Stay away from it. Now here's a game that is worse than Dick Tracy, in my opinion. That's or WWF WrestleMania rather. The ones on the Super Nintendo were okay. The ones on NES are crap. Like, this has very limited moves in the game. There's only like 6 wrestlers in the game. Some of the wrestlers can't even kick. It's very hard to pin your opponents. I don't know how you pin in this game. I always got pinned by the other guy, wrestler, not bad guy, but wrestler. Um, the controls suck. Um, the levels are the same. You have the same wrestling ring for each person that you choose, each character. There's no level variation. There's no variety. You know, it's just a mindless button masher, and it sucks. It's terrible. Do not buy it. It is not worth your money. This game I got for about $7 is not worth $7. I can tell you that. It's crap. Terrible game. Terrible wrestling game. I also know that there's 2 or 3 other wrestling games on NES, and you know what? I heard they also suck. Because after Acclaim's Abomination, they handed it over to LJN, and LJN, they fucked it up. Number 2, this game is virtually unplayable. Although there is a game that I think is worse than it's by a little bit. By a little bit. But this game is awful. It's based from the Addams Family TV show, Fester's Quest. I talked about this in the collab video with Jack Goldkick as well. It is awful. It is a crappy game. This game is probably one of the worst NES games I ever played. And the reason this game's horrible is because you get a weapon. You play as Uncle Fester in the game. And you get a crappy weapon that does nothing. The weapon sucks in the game. Every time you use that weapon, it circles around the enemies in the game, and it doesn't hit them. Or if it hits them, it's by pure randomness that it hits them and actually kills that enemy. But there's respawning in the game as well. Oh, don't you just love that? Have a crappy weapon in the game where you think that would help. Most stuff that you have for a weapon works. Look at Super Mario Bros. When he throws fireballs at his enemies, kills them. Works well. Link has a sword in the game. He gets that on fire and he shoots at enemies, kills them. Kirby can suck things up and then spit it out and kill that enemy with a star. The weapon sucks so bad it doesn't do a thing. Terrible. Terrible game. And then when you get into the maze, like that part where you got in through the doors and turns into a maze, it's a confusing mess. Half the time you end up going out the back door and you just get a respawn of enemies and your health is low in the corner there and it doesn't regenerate. And if you die and you come back, the health is at like 3 bars and it doesn't full it up all the way to like 9 bars. It's ridiculous, man. It's just not fair. Like Sunsoft, they screwed this one up. They did well with Batman and a couple other games, but this one, it's terrible. It's crap. Do not buy it. It's a horrible game. It's one of the worst NES games on the NES system. It is garbage. Do not buy it. Adding to that abomination, I think this is the worst NES game I ever played. This is a mistake of a game. Like, this is horrible. And this is one that the Angry Video Game Nerd also talked about. And it is bad. It's really bad. And most games that these guys made were actually pretty good. I heard Broder Band, according to John Riggs, who's part of the Metal Jesus crew, if you didn't know. He's a YouTuber that does gaming videos. I reviewed all the Broder Band games, or Broder Band games, however you pronounce it, and most of them were good. Not this one, though. Deadly Towers. This game is horrible. Horrible. First of all, the cover of this dude that's on the front looks nothing like the character in the game. That's terrible. You get these stupid enemies in the game, like these little slinky dudes that move around, these little spiders, and whatever the hell those other enemies are in the game. And it's like a maze level. You go through one level, part of the level of the castle, I think it is, through the other side, and then you end up out the way that you came. It's like ridiculous. Like, how the hell is anybody supposed to get anywhere in this game? When you get super far in this game, you kill a bunch of enemies, and then you end up back at the beginning of the game. It makes no sense at all. It stinks. It frustrated the hell out of me, man. It made me so mad playing this game, you know? And I don't get pissed off when it comes to playing games very much, but this game really pissed me off. It really pissed me off. So fucking badly, man. It really did. God, I'm sorry. I gotta calm down. Now, look at me. I'm turned into the angry video game nerd. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But it did. It frustrated me so badly. I got pissed off, turned the NES off, ready to chuck this damn game across the wall like, mm, 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 like multiple times until I break this cartridge, you know? Like, not just once, like that. No, I literally was about to. I mean, because this game cost me $10. That is disgraceful. It cost me $10 for a game like this. Oh man, this was a mess. Mess of a game. I didn't get past the first level of the game because I could not figure out where the hell I'm supposed to go, what the hell I'm supposed to do. The enemies in the game suck. There's no way to know what direction you're supposed to go. You go to the right, and then before you know it, you end up back at square one. You go to the left, you can end up back at square one. That's another thing I want to talk about. There were parts of the game that was so unfair. Like there would be like a area that was very narrow. There'd be an enemy like this on this side in the middle, right? You come through this way. You got an enemy or two that's on the left of you, right? You got an enemy in the middle, and then you got one towards the right. Guess what happens? With their force being stronger than you, because you get a little sword that looks like a dick, no offense, but it does, pushes you off the cliff in the game because of all the enemies on the screen. That is just not fair. Who programmed a game like that to where you fall off the cliff? It's just that sucks, man. This is a terrible game. Very terrible, crappy game on the NES. Worst piece of garbage that I ever played. Have $10 for this game? That's laughable, man. This is not worth $10. I mean, I couldn't even see somebody paying $5 for this game. The most I'd see somebody paying for this game, if they just want to get more NES games, is probably $3, $2.99. And even then, this game it sucks. It's horrible. Just a terrible game on the NES. I do not recommend that one. That one will definitely frustrate you. That and Fester's Quest for sure. So that's my list of the worst NES games. What are some of the worst NES games that you've played? I'd love to know down in the comments section below, because there is that thing on YouTube where you can comment down below. And I appreciate all the comments coming through, except for the trolls and the cyberbullies, because fuck them. But other than that, I appreciate your comments, and I would love to know what you think is the worst NES games. What is your top 10 worst NES games? I would love to know. Also, Anthony Chobot, I haven't seen that PS2 collection. The PS2 top 20 list. I would love to see that video come out very soon. I did my part. Now I'm waiting for you to come through with your part. Hopefully we'll see that soon. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's not exactly the most positive video, but that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, especially when you're talking about some of the worst video games. Anyways, thank you for watching. God bless you and take care. Larry the Batman fan signing off. Peace.